Good morning, it's Marshy here with the video edition of my AI newsletter, AI versus Marshy. And just in case you're wondering, you can read the newsletter. It comes out every Thursday at lukemarshall.net/newsletter. But today I want to walk you through the newsletter itself. And this week we looked at, I met a founder from Japan who is bringing English knowledge into the country. I thought that was really interesting. I give you an update on where I'm at with my ADHD gold machine stack. It's a working title, but we'll see how we go. And I just want to run an idea past this audience around webinars on AI to use things for career, personal development, startup, etc. So, first thing I want to talk about is translating expertise with AI Japanese style. And I met Eric, who's the founder of Timelyhero. And really nice guy. Turned out we both used to work at Google once upon a time. I'd been to the Tokyo office. Unfortunately, our tenures did not overlap. But what was really interesting about Eric is similar to me, he sort of agitates and doesn't like being a small bit in a big machine. And so he's quite entrepreneurial, did a number of things post-Google, and has now sort of hit some gold with Timelyhero. But first, I want to show you this chart. And so this is from an edition earlier, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and basically translation, most hit profession, at least on Upwork, in terms of change in hourly rate. That doesn't mean translation's needed, it's needed more now than ever. I think the way you do it though is via different tech. And so with Eric's work with Timelyhero, basically what he's doing is grabbing all the knowledge in the world, there's obviously an abundance of it, and most of it in English and other languages other than Japanese. But there's a whole Japanese cohort that, it's quite a large population that wants to learn but doesn't have access to these materials. Now, when I was talking to Eric about this, we all know, things like Google Translate, and the accuracy used to be about 70% a few years ago. Like, it was okay. It got harder with more complex languages. And according to Eric now, and from the chat with him, it's now hovering around 98, 99%. And he thinks there's a future not too far away where I could be speaking and it would dub and translate and even possibly move my mouth on the fly to reflect what's happening. And so that's pretty cool. I thought, definitely an interesting project, and I like the way things are changing so dramatically within a relatively short amount of time. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of boring articles from hype machines and lack of hype machines. Doomsday about AI investment and the like. And honestly, it's just noise. The reality is meaningful things are happening. This wasn't possible a few years ago. And so, I met Eric on Lunch Club, and so I asked him, other than swapping notes on Google, I said, hey, do you want me featured in the newsletter? Give me a wave. And there he is. Very nice name. Thank you for being a good sport. Cool. Let's change gears a bit and talk about something I mentioned about a month or so ago about ADHD gold machine. It's a working title. Essentially, I think AI tools can help with ADHD. And so after speaking to someone at StartMate, Michael Batko, thanks mate, I've spoken to about 20 knowledge workers, and I think now I need to pressure test the thinking a bit more, and I'm reaching out to ADHD coaches. And they're a bit harder to get a hold of because, they charge for their time, and it's really, they'd be doing me a favor. But I think I've got a bit of value to add, given I work in tech, I've got this background in sort of marketing and comms, got ADHD myself, and I wanted to share what I learned and then share what I know. Anyway, had my first meeting with an ADHD coach. Her name was Annie. She was lovely, and basically said, all right, so I think where tech could probably help is with this time blindness or drift, as I call it. She said, look, I understand what you're saying, but usually with people, the solution or workaround is different for each person. And we, as a coach, they seek to understand the why it is happening and then try and workshop or build solutions in that help them make the way their traits work for them. I'm like, that makes complete sense and explains why of the 20 people I spoke to, only 1 or 2 had really thought about tech at a more sophisticated level. The interesting thing though is, hey, but you don't know what I know. And I've been looking at tools out here, and surely there's a combination of them that can sort of help this problem. And so I mentioned Hume, linked it to it, mentioned it. And about an hour or so later, I get this email back from her, hey, I demoed it. It was awesome. I think there might be something here in AI real-time coaching. I think there is too. And so obviously, this is outside all my other day-to-day responsibilities. And I don't know if it's going to be a self-serve tool or something that you can implement in conjunction with a coach, or something that's full on personalized consults, but I'll keep exploring this. It's really fun. Last thing I want to run past the audience and the readers is I'm constantly getting requests for, okay, well, how do I use AI for this or that? career development, personal development, finding a startup idea, doing a particular thing better in an industry. And so I'm thinking we're going to do some webinars on this in the future. And I just want to test and see what resonates, what adds the most value. And so if that is something that you're thinking about, or you've got a niche you're in and you're like, hey, I wonder if I can use AI for this, throw down a challenge. I'll happily build a webinar on it. I'm testing this content myself. I just want to see what resonates. And so I'm looking to do 4 or 5 of these. Hit me up if you're interested in knowing more. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty busy at the moment with lots of projects. I have moved to a co-working space. My almost 1-year-old boys are getting too noisy. And I think that's all the news I'm going to share for now, but there's more in the works as well. So thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, you can do that via my website. Otherwise, have a good weekend.